before revelation, before opposition, before a single verse was revealed. There was a reputation that no one questioned, and that reputation would one day protect a message that would change the world. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born in Makkah, in the land of Hijaz, during the year of the elephant. His father, Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib, passed away before he was born. His mother, Amina bint Wahab, cared for him until he reached the age of 6. Then, she too passed away. Now orphaned, he came under the care of his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, the respected leader of Quraysh. When the child reached the age of 8, his grandfather also passed away, and responsibility was placed upon his uncle, Abu Talib. Under his uncle's care, Muhammad grew into a young man known not for wealth and not for influence, but for honesty, restraint, and wisdom. In a society shaped by tribal conflict and injustice, his conduct stood apart. So consistent was his truthfulness that the people of Makkah gave him a title, Al-Amin, the trustworthy. This reputation was earned long before revelation, long before prophethood, and it was acknowledged even by those who would later oppose him. Like many in Makkah, he worked as a shepherd. He lived simply, and he observed carefully. The blood feuds, the neglect of the weak, the absence of law. These realities weighed heavily upon him. He avoided gatherings of corruption, and he was known for reflection and restraint, disturbed by the moral state of his people, yet patient among them. When he was 25 years old, Muhammad entered into business on behalf of Khadija bint Khuwaylid, a noble woman of Quraysh, known for wealth and integrity. His honesty and professionalism distinguished him clearly. Impressed by his character, Khadija proposed marriage. Despite the difference in age, their union became one of deep loyalty and stability. This marriage would later become a source of strength during years of hardship yet to come. At the age of 35, a dispute erupted during the rebuilding of the Kaaba. Each tribe demanded the honor of placing the black stone. Tensions escalated, and violence loomed. The tribes agreed on a solution. The first man to enter the sanctuary would arbitrate. That man was Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the trustworthy. His solution was simple. The stone was placed on a cloth. Each tribe held an edge, and all shared the honor. Bloodshed was prevented. Justice prevailed, and the conflict ended. Throughout his life, Muhammad consistently supported others. He assisted his uncle Abu Talib during financial hardship. He took responsibility for raising Ali ibn Abi Talib, and later, Aqil. Wealth was never hoarded. It was used to relieve others. Authority did not come first, character did. Long before revelation, before responsibility was placed upon him, trust had already been earned. Slowly, quietly, without demand. Influence was not built through power. It was not built through wealth. It was built through decades of integrity that even opponents could not deny. When conflict threatened to divide an entire people, it was not force that resolved it. It was wisdom and fairness that left no tribe excluded. Responsibility was never treated as something to escape. Caring for family, supporting the vulnerable, carrying the burdens of others. These were acts of worship. This was not revelation. This was preparation, the shaping of a life chosen to carry a message heavier than mountains, and the call had not yet come. Preparation does not announce itself. It works quietly, patiently, over time. And as the years passed, the distance between Muhammad and the ways of his people continued to grow. Makkah was a city built on tradition, but not all traditions were just. Idols surrounded the Kaaba. Tribal pride ruled decisions, and power determined truth. Muhammad did not take part in idol worship. He did not swear by idols. He did not join gatherings of excess, not because he was commanded to, but because his nature rejected it. As he approached 40, his desire for solitude increased. Noise gave way to reflection. Crowds gave way to silence. He was known to withdraw from the city, seeking time alone, not to escape his people, but to understand the world around him. Among the mountains surrounding Makkah, there was a cave, Ḥirāʻ, a place overlooking the city, removed, quiet. There, Muhammad would spend nights in reflection, contemplating creation, justice, and the condition of mankind. Beyond Makkah, the world was unsettled. Empires rose and fell. Oppression was common, and guidance was scarce. Humanity was not without knowledge, but it was without direction, and revelation had been absent for generations. There were no claims, no announcements, no expectations, only consistency, only reflection, only restraint. A life lived with integrity, without recognition, was nearing a moment that would change everything. The cave remained silent. The nights passed. The world continued as it always had. But the preparation was complete, not suddenly, not dramatically, but fully. Guidance does not descend upon chaos. It descends upon readiness. Silence is not emptiness, it is preparation. And separation from corruption is often the first step toward responsibility. The world does not change through haste. It changes when the right heart is ready to carry the weight of truth. He would return to the cave again, as he always had. But this time, the silence would not remain unbroken, and what began in solitude would soon echo across the world. Time continued. The city slept. The mountains remained, and the nights returned, one after another, unchanged. Muhammad continued as he always had. He returned to his family. He fulfilled his responsibilities. He walked among his people. Nothing outward changed. There were no declarations, no signs witnessed by others, no claims made, only consistency. The cave remained what it had always been: stone, silence, distance. It was not a place of miracles. It was a place of separation. Separation from noise, from excess, from distraction. There, reflection deepened. Humanity was not without intelligence, but it was without guidance. Knowledge existed, power existed, justice did not. And revelation had been absent for generations. The world moved forward, but without direction. No one in Makkah noticed a change. No one sensed a moment approaching. But a life shaped by honesty, restraint, and responsibility had reached its fullness. Nothing was missing. Nothing remained unformed. Preparation is rarely visible. It does not announce itself. It does not rush. It completes its work in silence. And when the moment comes, it finds a heart already able to carry the weight placed upon it. One night, Muhammad would return to the cave again, as he had many times before. But this time, what descended upon him would not be silence, and what began in isolation would soon reshape the world. That night, the call would come.
Revelation had come. Certainty had been established. Reassurance had been given. The pause had ended. But the command to speak publicly had not yet arrived. What followed was not a declaration, but a beginning. Quiet, deliberate, and unseen. The message did not enter the world through crowds. It entered through trust. The first person to believe in the message of Islam was Khadija bint Khuwaylid radiyallahu anha. Not after deliberation, not after consultation, not after proof demanded. She believed immediately. This matters. She had witnessed his life for years. She had seen his honesty in private and public. She had observed his restraint, his generosity, and his consistency. When revelation came, it did not contradict what she already knew. Faith, in this case, was not a leap into the unknown. It was recognition. Her belief carried weight. She offered support without hesitation. She offered stability when uncertainty surrounded him. And she would continue to stand beside him when opposition later emerged. This was not symbolic belief. It was active commitment. Soon after, another accepted the message. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu was still a young boy living in the household of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Despite his age, he was not excluded from truth. When the message was presented to him, he accepted it. There is no report of pressure, no record of coercion, no indication of confusion. What matters is that belief was not restricted by age, status, or strength. Ali radiyallahu anhu would grow into a central figure in Islamic history. But here, at the beginning, he represents something else. That faith entered the next generation quietly within the walls of a home. Islam did not begin as a movement of power. It began as a matter of conviction. Among the earliest to accept the message was Abu Bakr al-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. He was known in Mecca, respected, trusted, connected. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhim presented the message to him, Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu accepted it without hesitation. His belief did not remain private. Unlike others, he immediately began to share what he had accepted, quietly, carefully, and without force. Through Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, several others embraced Islam early, including men who would later become central to the community. This is significant. Islam did not spread first through speeches. It spread through relationships. Trust opened doors that argument never could. At this stage, da'wah was private. There was no public proclamation, no challenge issued to Quraysh, no confrontation. This restraint was intentional. Revelation guided action, and action followed command, not urgency. Those invited were chosen carefully. Family, close friends, individuals known for reflection and integrity. Meetings were quiet. Belief was personal. Community formed slowly. This phase would last for several years. It allowed faith to settle. It allowed understanding to deepen. It allowed a foundation to form before pressure arrived. As the number of believers grew, a place was needed where they could gather safely. This place became known as the House of Al-Arqam. Located discreetly near Mount Safa, it was not an obvious choice. Its significance was not architectural. It was strategic. There, the early Muslims met. There, Quranic revelation was taught. There, faith was strengthened away from public scrutiny. This house became the first learning space of Islam. No banners, no symbols, no authority displayed. Only people sitting together, learning what had been revealed. It was here that Islam took root, not in power, but in patience. By the time this private phase neared its end, a small but firm community existed. They were few. They were vulnerable. They were unprotected. But they were unified. They knew what they believed. They knew why they believed it. And they were prepared to carry that belief forward. The foundation had been laid. The next stage would not be quiet. Faith had entered homes. It had entered friendships. It had entered hearts. But it had not yet entered the streets. Soon the message would be spoken openly. Soon resistance would begin. Soon belief would be tested publicly. But for now, the first believers had gathered, and that was enough. Before the message was raised in public, it was secured in private.
For years, silence had shaped his nights. Solitude was familiar. Reflection was routine. The stillness of the mountains outside Mecca had become a place of retreat. Nothing about that night appeared different. There was no gathering, no sign, no announcement. Only the same cave, the same quiet, the same man. Until silence itself was broken. It was during one of these retreats in the cave of Ḥirā಼ that revelation came. The Qur'an describes this moment without spectacle. The angel Jibreel appeared to him and commanded him to read. He responded that he was not one who read. The command was repeated, and then the first verses were revealed. Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging form. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know. Qur'an 96, 1-5. This was not a moment of calm reception. Authentic narrations describe the experience as overwhelming. The weight of revelation was physical. The moment was sudden. The command was unexpected. There is no narration that says he sought this moment. There is no report that he anticipated it. Only that when it came with force. And when it ended, he left the cave immediately. He descended the mountain in haste. His heart was unsettled. His body trembled. This reaction matters. Prophets are not chosen because they expect revelation. They are chosen because they can carry it, even when it is heavy. When he reached his home, he did not address the city. He did not gather people. He did not announce anything. He went directly to Khadija, radiyallahu anha, and he asked to be covered. The narrations describe fear, not doubt. Fear of the magnitude of what had just occurred. Fear of the responsibility implied. This distinction is important. Fear does not negate certainty. It confirms seriousness. Khadija, radiyallahu anha, did not question his character. She did not dismiss his experience. She did not attribute it to imagination. Instead, she grounded him in what she already knew. She reminded him of his life, of his honesty, of his care for relatives, of his concern for the poor, of his defense of the vulnerable, of his truthfulness. Then she said words preserved in authentic narration, that Allah would never disgrace someone who upheld these qualities. This response was not emotional reassurance alone. It was moral reasoning. She did not claim to know what had happened, but she knew who he was. And she understood that a life built on integrity was not abandoned by God. Seeking clarity, Khadija took him to her cousin, Waraqah ibn Nawfal. Waraqah was elderly. He was learned in the previous scriptures, and he had withdrawn from idol worship. When Prophet Muhammad described what had occurred, Waraqah responded carefully. He identified the being who had appeared as the same messenger who had come to Musa alayhi salam. This is significant. Waraqah did not frame the experience as unique in isolation. He placed it within a historical pattern of revelation. He also warned him that his people would oppose him, that he would be rejected, that he would face hardship. And he expressed a wish that he might live long enough to support him. Shortly after,
Waraqah passed away. There was no movement yet, no following, no call, only confirmation. After this moment, revelation did not immediately continue. The narrations describe a pause. This period is known as the Fatra. The Qur'an does not specify its length, reports vary, and scholars refrain from definitive claims. What matters is not the duration, but the effect. The pause was not abandonment, and it was not uncertainty. It was transition. The weight of the first revelation had landed. Its implications were real, its responsibility undeniable. And yet, nothing more came for a time. This silence was different from the silence before. Before, silence was preparation. Now, silence carried expectation. Mecca continued as it had. Idols remained. Injustice remained. Tribal pride remained. But Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was no longer the same man who entered the cave. He carried knowledge no one else did. He carried certainty without instruction. He carried a message without permission to speak. This restraint matters. He did not act without command. He did not move ahead of revelation. The mission had begun, but it had not yet been declared. Revelation had come. Fear had been met with reassurance. Confirmation had been given. Silence had returned, but it was no longer empty. Soon, the command would come to speak. Soon, the private burden would become public. Soon, Mecca would hear what it had never heard before. But not yet. For now, the message remained between heaven and one man. The silence had ended, but the call had not yet been made.